out of battery. It's gonna be my assumption. It's gonna be loud for a second, sorry guys. Alright. Gimbal? Okay, so that's not really helping me at all. Let's get this one better. Camera A? Zoom? Wheel. Oh, okay. It's actually not too bad, huh? Yeah, it's not too bad. Alright. So what I'm gonna do today, maybe I'll do some whistles. Oops. So we got a couple different kind of whistles I'm making. So I made these ones here. They're like little necklace ones. Also, it's not really in focus, huh? Oh, it is if I'm closer. I'm just looking a little bit too far back. So we got these ones. I was kind of inspired by there's this show called, or this anime or manga called Berserk, and there's these like red, like little demon face eyeball monsters that are pretty cool. So anyway, that was my inspiration. And we got these ones. They're just little mini ones there. So I think that's all I'm gonna say. So I just fit all these whistles together. And then I think I'll probably do like some editing later tonight. Which I should be on for that. That's what he said. Dang, my man is live. Crown number 1. How's it going? It's going okay. I gotta get some of my clay here. I don't really want to use the hard stuff. I have the hard stuff that I could use, but again, I just think it'd be kind of a waste. Yeah. I think this stuff is soft. Let me just get a feel for this. Okay. I don't really like this plastic though, right? Plastic's kind of annoying. I'm doing these beads. You can see in the back. I've been making a bunch of these like ceramic beads out of all my desk. You can't really see, but there's a bunch of reclaim buckets over there. But I made just a bunch of molds and casting all these beads. Wheel? So that's what I'm doing a lot of these days. To be honest, I didn't really even want to stream today. I feel like this is not very streamable content. we'll start with this one. Close in. Yeah, I hope you're doing well too. You can chill, talk a bit instead of content today. Yeah, I guess I don't really. I think what I'm thinking about mostly right now is what am I gonna do with these beads? I've been making so many of these beads. I gotta start figuring out what I'm gonna do with them. I already have one idea, but I feel like I've made so many now. I also think my hands aren't totally in focus. Let me bump that back to 5. Should be better. Yeah, I'm gonna find out what I'm gonna do with the beads, which will be fine, and then got a bunch of my stuff is finished. I glazed a ton of things, so I gotta make some videos about that stuff. And then I've been trying to post more videos of the finished glazed stuff from last cup session. It's been taking me a while to organize everything, but now I got all the files organized, so I'm gonna be pumping out more of those. But I feel like nobody likes those. It's like my version of like a Pottery car edit. They don't really, I just don't think they land with people. I spent a lot of time on them too. So, I like throwing a lot recently. I've been making some cool vessels, which have been nice. Man, thanks. I'm glad you like those shorts. I think they're like my favorite too. It's just, for whatever reason, it's just not the vibe. I think it would be like one of those things where if I was like already like a popular person on YouTube and then I made that sort of content, it'd be like epic. Just not captivating for normal people, yeah. I guess. You think it's okay for it to be about popularity? I think it's okay. I think it's almost like, I think a lot of times as like making content is like you're looking for some like approval that you're seeking, right? So it's always frustrating to get approval of things that you're not seeking, you know? For example, like a couple of my videos that have done well in the past, those videos were just things that happened in happenstance. What was being received was not what I was trying to convey in most instances. And so you spend so much time working towards like trying to make a thing that is going to be captivating, and then you find that the thing that you want to make that is captivating just isn't captivating. But I think what makes it worse is when you stumble upon something that is captivating to people and it's not even the thing you're trying to do. I think that's a pretty frustrating thing. So I feel like it is about popularity a little bit. I I think I definitely would feel better if those edited clips, like, popped off. I'm not gonna lie about that. It might seem shallow, but really. This is one. This one really tastes like mold, so we're not gonna mess around with that one so much. You guys are saying a lot of things. No, it's not about popular. I'm always thrilled to see those things, honestly, but not normal by any means. Yeah. Maybe I make things for weird people, you know? Like, maybe normal humans aren't really the intended audience at the end of the day. It's funny. You have a shareable idea to get to the stage, then because you have to have a shareable idea to get to the stage of popularity, then just coast. Yeah, like something that you mean everybody can link to. That's how it works in art, though. Something you don't intend can strike people. Yeah. I think I'm just not that type of person where I'm gonna take credit for that stuff, though, you know? Like, if there's something I didn't intend as a thing that captivates people, then I still didn't really do anything. Does that make sense? I think, like, part of having an idea and getting it conveyed, it's like a very, like, soul-affirming thing. And so, I think it's not, they're just different, you know? It has to be done a certain way for it to mean anything. That's how it should work, to be organic. Yeah, I think, though, like, don't you feel like it's weird, like, when people, like, fall into it more? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like part of going with it is inorganic, right? I think there's something that is actually really organic at about, like, just keep on attempting different ways to get your idea across instead of that, like, sort of conforming. But then again, I am a little, you know how I am about that stuff, y'all. I'm a little bit too stubborn for that stuff. That's so funny. I think a lot of ways that happens with all of us, though. It's like we get in this sort of mindset where we almost poison ourselves with our mind. And, like, it's really hard to, like, find and figure out how to address that poison. So I think sometimes people don't even know that it's there. So I think it's a really difficult thing is when you're, like, trying to address that poison. But yeah. Alright, right underneath here. Yeah, I think that's why I'm trying to be open to this, like, bead idea, but I keep getting this little demon in the brain that's very, like, against it. And so part of me thinks I should really just kill the idea. But I know, like, that's what I would always do. But then again, I don't know. It's like one of those things where, like, you just don't even know, like, if you're doing something for, like, the right reason or not. It's like one of those things. Kind of have to have that discussion. I think oftentimes, who has the time to have that discussion with themselves like that? I think it's a very blessed thing to be able to have those sort of conversations with oneself. Alright. I mean, can you guys really see what I'm doing here? Like, is the video okay? I think it's kind of good. Like, I like that I have this little window here. There's all this mess up here that I can put random things. I got the top thing. I'm gonna make a new little this thing. I want want them to kind of bob up and down slowly instead of just a beam coming across. So we'll see. The quest to convey ideas is often a really tricky one. The fact of the matter that some folks have ideas that are far outside experiences of average person. There's no explaining to it. Yeah. That seems so sad. We watched the guy I quoted a bunch to you, the video, game review, Matthew says, there's a dirty secret about creativity, much on the seizing on connections you don't feel responsible for. Yeah, I think it, sometimes like when I hear that sort of stuff, what it makes me think of is like videos that are talking about feelings that I'm experiencing, right? Like I'm very adverse to watching those sort of things. They kind of stress me out. I like I don't, like imagine this is like all of your ideas in your head. Like, have you ever played the game Civilizations 5? Or any of those like colony simulator games? Like, you have your little area, right? Look, I'll even explain it here on the wheel. So I got my little square whistles over here, right? And I got my little like necklace whistles over here, right? So here's two, and then the wheel is our mind. All right, so this is our mind, okay? Say these little square whistles, or the organized whistles over here, those are my ideas, right? And those are like untainted. Some people would argue that like there's no real unique ideas. Like you don't convey your own ideas. You're a conglomeration of ideas before you. But as a baseline, my hypothesis here, like forget that. You know, like play along with me that like you actually have original ideas and thoughts, okay? So those are those, right? And so the more that I listen to like other ideas that come in, so like when I listen to other things, I feel like I no longer have the majority of thoughts in my brain that are mine, right? Now they come from other places. Even if, and this is where I think I'll lose people, right? Even if we had an idea that's the same idea together, right? With these outside ideas and these internal ideas, I do not count this as my ideas anymore, you know? And so I think it really troubles me the more I seek out other ways of thinking that are taking up too much of my own self, right? I'm not opposed to like being open-minded, right? I think I'm just opposed to losing my own sort of thoughts, right? I don't want to become like a thought bank of other things that I consume. And so I think usually I like to just leave as many of these away and then trying to have more of these populate my wheel or my mind, you know? So that's what I'm thinking about that. Okay. Did you like my little wheel reference? I thought that was kind of cool. I know there's some things that are like debatable and when I'm talking about that stuff, but I don't know. Convince me yet. Ideas being original in the first place. I know you were gonna say that one. I think a lot of my friends are also like that, you know. You didn't convince me yet. Ideas in the first place. Original ideas come from. Yeah. How would I think about that? I mean, I think that's getting a little bit deep, you know? Because, like, right now we've talked about things that are all, like, tangible, right? Like, we've talked about, like, your ideas. It's things that are, like, really, like, little electricity bolts inside of your head, right? And obviously, like, the things we make and the things we say, like, a lot of that stuff is tangible. But I think, like, original ideas, they come from something that's not necessarily, like, tangible in the same way, right? And I think, like, people manifest it in all sorts of different ways. Like, people have their faith and stuff. And, you know, actually think about it is, like, have you guys ever watched, I know this is so, like, I'm trying to have a real conversation, but I'm bringing up cartoons, right? But there's this Kung Fu Panda, the movie. You guys watched Kung Fu Panda, right? I feel like you have to watch Kung Fu Panda. There's no way that you didn't, right? But maybe. Well, Kung Fu Panda, Po, he's like this panda dude and he makes noodles all day, right? He's like really into martial arts, and so he goes to see this like so-called dragon warrior be chosen, right? And when he gets there, he ends up like screwing up a whole bunch and ends up like embarrassing himself, and now he's right in the middle, right in between the bestowing of this title of the dragon warrior, right? And this turtle dude, Oogway, which means turtle in Chinese, he says like, yo, oh, I guess it's you, yo. And everybody's like, no, that was a mistake. Like and then he says, no, there was no mistake. This is him, you know. And then there's this whole ensuing of like feeling like he needs to fill this sort of identity of the dragon warrior, and thinking that he was lacking this special something, right? And throughout the story, he finally gets kind of told that, like, and he doesn't even realize it until after he opens up this dragon scroll to, like, supposedly give him the secrets to, like, being the dragon warrior. There's nothing on the page, right? And he was just devastated. And then he goes back to the noodle shop and he goes to leave because there's this enemy that's coming and only a dragon warrior can save them, right? And his dad is like, you know what? Like, I'll tell you the secret to these noodles. I'll tell you the secret. And Poe's been wanting this even since he was a kid at this noodle shop of, like, learning what the secret ingredient was. And then his dad said there was no secret ingredient, right? There's no secret ingredient. And that's when he looked at that scroll, that dragon warrior scroll, and saw there was nothing but a blank page. And it was just a reflection. There was no, like, secret ingredient, right? And wow, holy smokes, you know? And the only thing he had was that he believed that he was the dragon warrior. That's the thing that, like, made him the dragon warrior. Is the thing that, like, the special thing was more of just, like, a belief in that thing, right? And I think that's where original ideas come from. They come from, like, some set of beliefs or just a belief, right? And then they can, like I said, they can manifest themselves in so many different ways. I think, like, typically people see it as, like, religion right away, right? But I don't know. I think really that's where original ideas come from. But yeah, I need to. Original thought that he wasn't the dragon. Yeah, because I think is that contradictory though? You know? I don't know if it's contradictory. Alright, this is not. I need some softer clay. Hold on 1 second, guys. It's just not sticking. I'm not flipping the score in this stuff. I never flip the score in my whistles. That's my not pro tip. Just don't slip the score anything. Really probably shouldn't, but I'm just giving it away. to argue that it was also and got the idea that leaving from his goose dad. Yeah, I just think that I don't know, there's something about, I don't think, if I think like that way, you know, like I don't think I'll ever like really enjoy like life on Earth, right? Like I love the idea that like if you really kind of like believe in something, that you won't necessarily get what you want, but you'll get something that's your own, that you make, right? I think that's really what I'm trying to do, you know? Yeah, I think that's cool. Teach their own, right? Just kind of what I've been thinking about recently. Kind of liking this little whistle here now. Oh wait, did I even try this one? Yeah, I didn't even get this one working. That's so funny. You know, I literally thought I was gonna get this working. Well, alright. Now this better be working. I'm like determined now. This one's struggling, I'm not gonna lie. Let's see if we can get this a little bit better. I think we can. I think there's not really anything stopping this here. I think I opened it up a little bit too much, but we're gonna just leave it. That one's kind of sounds like it's struggling a little bit. Oh, that's embarrassing. I just kind of smashed that. I also think I feel like I stopped liking art now too. Like, I feel like I never feel the impulse to consume art anymore. I feel like you guys always know I kind of didn't like the term artist either as like something that I am and what I do. And so, I think I gotta figure out what I gotta do here, Alright, let me pull this out. I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, no, that was gonna not work. Why do you lose interest in art? I don't know. I think I used to really like looking at like paintings or like looking at other people's work and stuff. But I don't know, I just stopped. It's just not my thing anymore. Like, I don't really like looking at people's stuff. And usually when I look at it, I don't really feel too much from it. I think it just kind of makes me angry usually. And so I just stopped. Just listen to music, so I guess I consume, if you call that art. Paintings, classics, moderns. I don't know, I went to a lot of go to a lot of contemporary museums. And I went recently and I just didn't really feel too connected with stuff. Even in some museums that have like the old stuff too. I don't know, I just think that art's not my thing. I feel angry when watching other people's stuff. I don't even know if I could put words to it. You're just like almost feel restless for like no reason. You're just like sitting there and you're freaking like fuming up a storm, or you feel like really like uncomfortable. Like, I think like consuming that stuff, it like literally, I almost feel like I'm in a really hot room, when I'm watching their stuff. Like, it just makes me feel like severely uncomfortable, and so I just don't watch that stuff anymore and try to consume it. I've been trying to do books recently, but books are pretty boring, I'm not gonna lie. At least for me. I just don't have a good time reading. Man, this is another one that's not really that great. This is terrible. Come on now. I feel like I don't think I'll consume much media from like 100 years ago, let alone 100 years ago. I feel like those paintings, to me, they always claim like they're timeless, and they explain some like raw human emotion, but I don't feel connected to those paintings like at all. I think part of the problem with this is that I chose to go downwards with my spout here. We gotta kind of keep that. It's not gonna get better than that. That's a shame. I got a lot of bad ones here. Adam Grant, he's like the one who makes all those, like, he would make music or paintings that look like the backgrounds of some stuff that this would sound like, the music that I'm listening to. Does that make sense? Like, he makes paintings that look like how this sounds. At least that's how I think, right? Let's look. Let's get a look here. There's that horse. One with the red shine, like the starving horse. Yeah, right? Doesn't this like match the vibe? Which one did you want me to look at again? You said think again. Is it a book? It's not a book. It's just not popping up, yo. Some other Adam Grant totally hijacked that painting, just so you know. But I kind of understand what you mean. But still, that stuff doesn't really get me. It doesn't really get me. I do agree, all whistles can't be awesome. You're right, we should leave the bad whistles in. You can't only do good whistles. They all sound significantly different from one another, though. That is a vibe. Trying to think positive thoughts today. It's been a rough one, to be honest. Yeah, I hate when it's a rough one, for real. I feel like everybody has like a rough one, you know? That sounds like it'd be a good book title for Adam Grant's next book. Instead of Think Again, the thing is just called Rough One. It's like a story about a dude who just keeps having rough ones over and over and over and over again, and keeps on pursuing forward. Sorry, I'm still thinking about Berserk. That manga is just freaking next level. Alright, kind of like this one. It's looking nice. I'm gonna turn this. I still can't really see it. It's a really compelling title. That's what I'm saying. I feel like that's a book that I would buy. If I saw that, I'd be like, alright. That book knows what's up. Come on. Is it really that? It is. It's so annoying when I go through the back, but it's whatever. What did I read? And do you think you're just not into novels? I read The Alchemist by Paulo. Last name starts with a C. Carlos or something. Paulo. Maybe it's actually like an Italian name. But anyway, I don't really know. But it's a book called The Alchemist. It's pretty good. I think like there was a point towards the end where I just like everything was happening so fast, and I didn't really know like half of what they were talking about at the end. There's a lot of like, you know, it's like story driven and things are happening, and then it's like a lot of like thoughts. Invisibility 2. This time it's visible. I like that. That's a good vibe. Oh, bro. Are you kidding me? You're not supposed to do that. Think Again by Adam Grant is not a novel. I know, that's what I was saying. That's all that would come up was the novel. The painting didn't come up. That's what I was saying earlier. You like totally. Kohela, The Alchemist, good book. Yeah, but don't you think towards the end, like everything was happening so fast? Like the first part, the jewelry thing made sense. Then like the whole like traveling around made sense. Then they got that kingdom thing, that made sense. And then all of a sudden like, boom, bop, bam, back to a tree. I'm like, dude, like holy smokes. I'm still over in the paradise area, you know. It's a book, not a novel, though. Please just order it. I'm gonna pay for it if you didn't like it. Oh wait, so it wasn't a painting? It was literally a book that you were trying to tell me to get? I think I totally misunderstood what you were saying. This whole time I thought there was a painting by Adam Grant, like a painter, called Think Again. But you said it's a book. Was I totally misunderstanding what you were meaning? Alright. Yeah, that is. I literally thought you were talking about Adam Grant, like the painter. We were talking about art earlier. Oh no, I think I freaking screwed up again. Oh my gosh. Come on, bro. Is it a self-help book? So I don't want to read any more of those self-help books. I'm self-help booked out. I actually, one thing I wanted to read was I wanted to try to read The Lord of the Rings. I thought that'd be kind of a cool. Oh, yeah, right on the money this clay in my mouth. This is the ones I don't want to get in my mouth either. This is literally, I was like wiping off some crazy mold on this earlier. I've also been jump roping a lot more. I like jump roping.
Ela bate no peito, ela fala que é brava. Vamos ver se tu aguenta. Sequência e vai tomar.
Having these power edits in your chill stream feels like an ad, not gonna lie. What power edits? Having these power edits? Is that what this music is called? Power edits? What do you mean a power edit though? Is it like a Ronnie Coleman weightlifting edit? To like some crazy music or what? And it makes you watch an ad? Maybe something wrong with the voice command? Oh. Shit. I didn't even mean to do the little thing. I was like, yeah, that was a total mistake then. Didn't even mean for that to happen. That's funny though. We got. We'll do these small ones and then we'll be done. So 3. That, like, when that hits, I just think of, like, those, like, pseudo motivational freaking quotes. Like, somebody's like, And sometimes, when we have spaghetti, we're wishing it was macaroni. And we just have to eat spaghetti with just one meatball. How could we do such a thing? Like, that's what this reminds me of. It's just some, like... It's not a vibe. Okay, this is... I don't know. It's like a little bit too much stuff. Let's just listen to some Chet Baker. I feel like this is a vibe. Wait. Turn on. Oh. Think less of yourself for not making original art, whatever that means. Might that be the reason you think less every art you consume? I don't know, maybe. That sounds like a causal thing, probably. This feels a bit like music from Charlie Brown's special. It's so legendary. I remember when that would be on all the time during the holidays. That was a vibe. I feel like a late fall evening where it's still kind of like fall-like outside, and then this pops on, like the Charlie Brown special, and like maybe there's like good smell from like the kitchen or like apple cider or something around. I feel like that's a vibe. And you're like looking out the window as like a little kid, and you're just like, bro, what is going on right now? I feel like I used to look out of windows a lot when I was a kid. I can remember in a car, like my mom would drive me around somewhere, like I would see the rain, you know, dribble on the windshield, and I'd always imagine they're like little race cars. And I remember there was something that was like really relaxing about looking at the rain falling. I think in the moment I thought it was obnoxious and annoying, but looking back at it, it definitely was like a vibe that I totally didn't appreciate at the time. When's the last time you guys like looked out the window and contemplated? I feel like I don't have time to look out a window. As soon as I'd start contemplating, I'd be like, am I not doing something with that? What the heck? The Art of Doing Nothing? That sounds like that should be a book. I guarantee you that's a book. Doesn't that sound like a book name? If not, yo, I should copyright that quick. So all that really is left is to seize the good while letting the bad drift away. I'm glad you like this one. I like that last one. I like too. I like these small ones. They're pretty nice. Connections formed in our mind, like jazz rain connection. Like jazz, yeah. I mean that. I like that memory. It's a good memory. Jazz, a late night fall scenario. That's where it's at. Just imagining it takes me back to the early 90s, and that's the kind of comforting feeling I needed right now, honestly. Right? Holy smokes. There's a lot of like really interesting things, and I think that like my mom, she always, you know, my mom always tried to like cook a meal, you know. Very rarely did my mom, like maybe later in my life, like when I was in high school, I feel like we ate out a lot more. But I remember when I was a kid, my mom was like freaking a shark when it came to like her kitchen presence, yo. She literally was always cooking up something just absolutely amazing. She made like this Spanish rice with pork, like a pork chop on it every once in a while. Literally nuts. My mom's meatloaf, nuts. This like beef stew thing she would make, nuts. Pea soup, nuts. And every once in a while she'd make caramel corn with pretzels. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was like the sole reason I got overweight for the first time in my life, was that, just alone. Like you could set that whole thing in front of me, I would just chow down, especially when it was fresh, yo. Crazy. That's how your grandmother was? Yeah, I feel like ever since I had to cook meals, it's been like freaking, I think I didn't worry about it as much when I was in school, right? Because it was just like, you kind of just eating whatever you and the boys are eating, right? But when you're like doing your own thing, you know, and you're not like eat with the boys, you're not gonna like go out to eat very much. Well, at least I don't. So I have to cook, and my meals at home suck. They suck so bad. They just are missing like this like weird, they're missing that special noodle recipe that the goose from Kung Fu Panda put in his noodles. That's what they're missing. Whatever that thing is, that's what my mom's food had. Yeah, I'm glad you also had a feeling like that. There's something about, I think that's also like, I wonder if other places in the world also have a similar feeling. Because don't some places not really have a fall? Like, if I went to Arizona, I don't think they have fall, right? It's just like cold summer. You learned to cook accidentally from watching my mom and grandmother cook. I just realized one day that I knew how to cook. I never used any recipes. That's so awesome. I feel like, bro, that's what you need to do right now. Is you just gotta cook like a really good meal that like your mom and your grandma would make. Like, I don't know what you're doing for dinner tomorrow, but maybe go to the grocery store and just like pick up like some of that stuff. I feel like that's a vibe. This one's not doing too good. I think some places really don't do seasons, but Atlanta has seasons, and fall is always my favorite. Yeah, fall is a vibe. I think I try to go outside in spring, but it's just a little bit too like bright. Fall, like evenings have like, I don't know, it's like the light cradles you. You know, that's how I would explain it. I can fix this one a little bit. Man, that's a good idea. Cook an old school meal idea. Yeah. Like if after I was done with this, I went upstairs and there was like some beef stew, right? Or you know what? The beef stew would be really good, right? But right now I'm like in a pea soup mood with like little like ham chunk bone in there, you know, and like the ham kind of like dissolves off into, yeah, that right there, like a split pea soup. If I went upstairs and I had that, I'd literally like, I think it would actually bring me to tears. That's art, yo. That right there, that's art. This one sounds really good. We'll do like a slide handle on this one though. That's funny. So wee. Sounds like a alarm or ambulance sound. Pea soup with ham bone. Yeah, my grandmother made that too. She was from New Orleans, so her red beans and rice was incredible. The ultimate comfort food. I can make it, but it's not the same. Yeah. I think your perception too when you're younger is so like different as you get older. Like there's something about when you see that meal like on a plate prepared, like you're freaking, the feeling is unexplainable. Like I don't think I've ever had a similar feeling like that in my like adulthood. I feel the same way with like when I would play games with like my friends as a kid. I don't know, it just felt so different. It was literally like was like a different human or something during that time. Maybe the most important skill for a daily artist or any worker to make something worthwhile is just recognizing when you have something good. If your work is subpar, you're driven to improve it. If you know it's acceptable, you won't throw it away. Repeat this reflection process enough times, and the other details hardly matter. Yeah, I feel like you gotta write a book still. Like, you have a very, like, book, what's that, the award that, like, you always see on, like, the magazine covers, like, top 10 books you need to read, you know? Like, you'd be on that list with some sentences, a few sentences like that in your book, yo. You get some real wordsmithing there. I feel like I do not have the wordsmithing ability. I think I just need to, like, know vocabulary words more, though. I think my library of vocabulary is quite small. Yeah, I think I was really lucky too. I got to go to like these barn camps when I was a kid, and they'd be like, "All right, go in the woods for 2 hours and like make a fort in the woods. And then after, you're gonna help us feed the chickens. And I was like, yo, I gotta feed the chickens and build a fort? I loved building forts when I was a kid. I can remember there was one specific memory where we had to build a fort and they gave us like 2 hours, and for some reason I always wanted to go back to making for the rest of the camp when we did anything else. They're like, let's go make wax hands and put our hands in wax. I was like, nah bro, get me over to my fort, yo. Where's my fort at? It's so funny. Something about a young boy in his fort, yo. That's the vibe. I would do that thing with blankets too, where you set like blankets over the back of like 4 chairs with the backs of the chairs facing each other, and you can make like an impromptu fort that way too. Building forts in the woods was incredible. I built a few awesome ones in my day, and building forts from sofa cushions and sheets was cool too, but not as cool as the woods forts. Yeah, I remember there was these trees. I don't even think they were trees. They were like vines on these trees that, man, this is, I don't think this one's really gonna stick on there. Like, this is pretty bad. But there's like these spikes that would grow on these vines. I always remember I'd like put those spikes everywhere on my fort. I like spikes. Wow, that's tough to break through. Holy. Come on now. Are you kidding me? I broke my stick again. Why on earth? Why on God's green earth is this that firm? That's crazy. Come on now. This one I think we're gonna have to throw away, guys. I don't think there's any saving this guy. Holy smokerinos, yo. Come on. I guess this is it. I just think this one's done. That works. If you don't see me in another 2 months, guys, I am dead from mold poisoning. You had one, I built tree houses like pigeons. I had one last mention on the topic that I didn't read. What was that? You might end up with something expected, but at least you end up with something good, maybe even something better than you imagined in the first place. Yep, everything is different as a kid, language that I recognize as mysterious where adults are getting some sort of stuff. Thanks, bro. Building forts and rooms, incredible. Building forts cell phone. Sure, come with nostalgia. Love it. Big nostalgia these later years. Yeah, I do like nostalgia. I built tree houses like pigeon build nests. That's a vibe, yo. You were a nest builder? That's epic. I was more like everything just still had to have spikes, and there needed to be like a window that actually looked like the classic like cross window, you know, where it's just like 4 panes. That was my vibe. If you play jazz again, play a video of Smokey Bar in the background. That's actually such a good idea. I'll do that. It's a good vibe. Have you ever seen a pigeon nest? Bumble sticks, bro. Pigeon nest? Aren't they like literally, they almost look like beehives? But, alright, I'm heading off, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.